Okay, so good morning, dear friends and colleagues. On behalf of myself and co-chair, Professor Pedro Diaz, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 10th International Conference on Adaptive Modeling and Simulation, which, at least formally, is hosted here at CIMNE in Göteborg. So things are as they are, as we know, and we're very sad that we cannot meet here in person this year, but still I'm very grateful, and we're grateful that you have chosen to be here with us for the conference. And I'm convinced that we will have a very nice conference with much interesting talks and very nice discussions, as always, as ADMOS. And to open the conference and to welcome you here in Göteborg, albeit on link from your home countries. It's my great pleasure to introduce CIMNE's rector, Professor Stefan Bengtsson.
Thank you, Fredrik. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, colleagues. I'm Stefan Bengtsson, and I'm the president of CIMNE. I've been in this position now for 6 years. And it's always a pleasure of opening conferences and welcoming colleagues to CIMNE to discuss scientific issues in the various conferences. This year, we are welcoming you to this digital meeting hosted from CIMNE. It would, of course, have been a pleasure also to welcome you to the city of Gothenburg, but hopefully we will have this opportunity another time. So, CIMNE is one of the organizers behind the 10th International Conference on Adaptive Modeling and Simulation, which will be held a couple of days now from starting today. CIMNE Universal Technology is, as it says, a universal technology. We are conducting research and education in engineering, in natural sciences, in architecture, and in some topics in the borders to business and social sciences. 3,000 employees, some 11,000 students. We are in the mix of our activities, some 70 to 75% is research and doctorate education. We have systematically over the years try to develop our university to, of course, having the highest possible academic standards, but also to be able to work across traditional boundaries. It might be boundaries between different subjects. It might also be boundaries between different organizations. And to help us doing that, we have created a tool, what we call areas of advance, which is a sort of matrix structure going across in the matrix dimension across all our departments, and thereby promoting our researchers, our students, etc., to collaborate across traditional boundaries. By this, we can manage to attack and understand more complex problems, and we form also a platform for our collaboration with industry, which is a long-standing tradition at CIMNE to work very closely to industry, and in particular, of course, to the many large companies that are present here in the city of Gothenburg. This particular conference is supported by the areas of advanced material science and the area of advanced ICT, which supports the conference. Of course, we all know, and I shouldn't tell you that, you know that much better than I, that numerical modeling and simulations are increasingly important. We see that by the development of methods, of software and of hardware, we are able to simulate and model things which were not possible to do only for a few years ago. And by this, we have a very powerful tool to complement experimental modeling and analysis. And of course, we can use it for designing or certifying various solutions in engineering applications. But still, as I understand, when I look into the subject, there are still need of continuing this journey of developing more advanced models. And we can see that the design of sophisticated engineering systems requires increasingly complex and coupled modeling and verifications tools. And still, there are a lot of room there to improve and thereby even further strengthen our capabilities of simulating and modeling various types of complex processes and also designing various tools and other ways of finding engineering solutions to problems. Looking into the program here, it seems to be quite a bit of the finite element methods, which is of course a method which have a very broad use across various disciplines, which is interesting where the different disciplines can support each other, of course. For the conference, I learned from Fredrik that it's the third time it is at Chalmers, and that is very good, of course. It was last time at 2007, and maybe there will be a fourth time in the future, and then we can have the opportunity also welcoming you here at Chalmers. So by this, I would like to say welcome to Chalmers, and welcome almost, at least, to the city of Gothenburg, and welcome to the 10th International Conference on Adaptive Modeling and Simulations. I wish you all good discussions and that you together, in digital form, of course, but that you together can find ways forward, and that collaboration between groups are strengthened, and you can be able to discuss the scientific issues that are the most relevant in your field at the moment. So to all of you, thank you for attending, and welcome to Chalmers and the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now, my great pleasure to hand over the word to my co-chair, Professor Pedro Diaz.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you, President, for your kind words. So we are starting this conference just 3 hours and a few minutes after the actual beginning of the summer. So we are the first estival conference in the year, and this is probably something that didn't happen before in the previous editions of ADMOS. So this is the 10th edition of ADMOS, 18 years after the first one that was in Chalmers in 2003. This edition was chaired by Professor Niels-Erik Wiberg. And then after being in Barcelona in 2005, we went back to Chalmers again in 2007, as the president said, but this time hosted by Professor Kenneth Runeson, who is also participating in this conference, by the way. And then we were roaming around Europe for 6 editions, in different places, all very interesting sites and very interesting conferences. And then we are back to Chalmers, this time with the chairmanship of Professor Fredrik Larsson. So we planned this as an actual conference because, of course, we decided that more than 2 years ago. And then we find ourselves now with this imposed virtuality that is not allowing us to enjoy Göteborg, the city, but Chalmers is still the conference host, and we expect to have soon the occasion to visit the actual premises. So we have to adapt to the situation. We are supposed to be experts in adaptivity, so this is part of our job. So we are adapting to the virtuality, and of course, as for any other event that took place this year, this is the first online or fully online experience of ADMOS. And we are proposing our own format, a particular format for the conference itself and for the proceedings. In this format is chosen in view of the particularities of this conference, in particular in view of the size of the conference and the thematic homogeneity. And we hope that this is going to work well for ADMOS. But that's a test, and we are asking you to help us in improving the experience. Any suggestion is more than welcome, and we will take note of that in the eventuality of having new online conference. We hope not. And but it could be also a way of having hybrid conferences and also to enrich the experience of an actual physical on-site conference. So one decision we took is to keep just a single simultaneous session, so no parallels. That's a decision we took, and that's a decision which is possible thanks to the limited size of this conference, around 100 people. And in this sense, so precisely speaking, all the talks are plenary. Okay, so all the talks have no competition. So the rest of the details, so this is one particularity of this conference, probably is a singularity of the conference. And the rest of the details now are going to be explained in detail by the chair, Professor Frederick Larson. So I wish you the best experience in this virtual ADMOS, first virtual ADMOS ever. And we hope that we may have a very rich and nice discussions all along the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pedro. So before going into some of the technical details of the conference, I want to acknowledge our sponsors, GID and Entropy first. And this ADMOS, as you know, is an ECOMAS thematic conference. And as such, it's supported by ECOMAS, IACM, and CIMNE. And for the chairs, myself and Professor Diaz, the conference is also supported by UPC Barcelona and Chalmers in Gothenburg. And as mentioned by Stefan Bengtsson, the conference is in particular supported by the Chalmers area of advance in material science and information and communication technology. Now on to the schedule. So we have 3 full days of exciting talks and meetings ahead of us. There are 3 plenary lectures. In total, we have 5 mini symposia, and there are 82 invited and contributed talks in these sessions. And already before we start, I would like to thank all the plenary lectures, the mini symposium organizers, the session chairs, the contributors, and all the participants, of course, for choosing to be here and for giving us the outlook towards a very successful conference. So the mandatory picture of where we are from, which today basically means where we are at due to the situation. Most of us are from Europe, with France winning the tournament, so to speak, in terms of number of delegates. But we also have participants from United States, Canada, and Australia, to mention a few. So in particular, thank you to those of you who are struggling with the time shift. About the conference format, we have the plenary lectures, which is basically regular or a little bit shorter, 25 minutes roughly, and 15-minute discussions. And then we have the invited and contributed sessions, as Pedro mentioned, which are all in series. And the new format is that we have these 5 minutes videos for each presenter, which are run in a row, and then we have a follow-up 30-minute discussion. So that's a new format that we are trying out. And as Pedro said, we hope that this will be successful, and we, of course, appreciate all the feedback we can have on that. I would like to mention that all the sessions will be recorded and made available through the conference platform during and a little time after the conference for your convenience. If you're missing sessions, or perhaps in particular for those of you who are not in the same time zone as we are. After that, the proceedings will be available on CIPEDIA, both presentations and papers. And I just want to highlight that some presentations are available already now. So you can have a look for some of the talks, in particular, extended versions of the talks are available. But after the conference, the proceedings at the CIPEDIA will be completed to contain all the abstract and videos for those who chosen to do that. A few pointers or ideas. So due to the new format of the conference, the chairman is collecting the questions through the chat. And I just want to give you the hint that you, of course, are welcome to post those questions already during the talks to give the chairman better time to prepare for collecting the questions. When you do that, a good thing to think of is to include in the message which talk you're addressing with your question. Also, the last item there is that during the lunch breaks, we will have mingle sessions. So we realize that we have a packed schedule during the full days, and you will be having your lunches at home. But just trying out, we have a open Zoom session where we can just try, meet, and see a few friendly faces. It's optional. And my final item today is to say that it's a new thing also that this year we have 2 Best Presentation Awards that will be handed out. And they are presented by the journal Entropy. And it contains the awardees will receive a certificate and a monetary award of 300 Swiss francs. To select the awards, we have the plenary lectures and the conference chairs. We constitute the committee since we are not involved in the regular talks. And this award will be announced during the closing session on Wednesday. So with that, again, thank you for being here and for making us have a nice conference to look forward to. And now we will leave perhaps a few minutes for break, and then the first session will start directly in this room, where Professor Fredrik Legault will be the chairman for the session. So welcome to ADMOS.